Okay guys, welcome back. So we have some new product in our hands.
Lots, yeah.
We're into the fall season. We gonna get excited this time because we know there's new product coming. The summer it's just head down. We're really fitting and doing
our working time really.
It is. It's where you're really hustling throughout the summer. But now we have some sort of fresh product to get our hands on and do some testing with.
So we thought we'd start with, of all the stuff that's coming in, Ping Glide 3.0, maybe because 2.0 was so good for so many players that you fit. Like, it's got to be one of your top performers last year.
I would say over the last couple of years and since that one launched, it was probably our #1 best-selling wedge in the store. Yeah, I think it just, sort of characteristics and design attributes, it ticks so many boxes. It fits such a wide range of players.
It's so true. It just makes a lot of sense. I know they're not the only cavity back kind of forgiving wedge company, but they seem to have done it the best.
I think so.
I think I told you the other day, I played with the famous Sammy and the member guest with his Glide 2.0. I'm telling you, the guy hits like 2 handicap wedges with his glides. So
wild. There's
something to it.
Without a doubt. So obviously building upon a successful range is a difficult thing to do for any company. So these have got a pretty difficult task to supersede what the 2.0s were.
Right.
So some interesting sort of new features, and we're actually going to test one of them today fairly extensively.
Yeah, one that doesn't get enough chatter, but we are going to do it.
Exactly.
I think they look better this year. I think the cavity design and everything and the finish, I think it just looks a little better.
A little bit more detail in the back and that sort of thing.
Just looks modern. I think it matches their other new clubs quite well.
Well, they've kind of kept the same identity with the 2.0 wedges. They've got their standard sole, they've got their tour sole, their wide sole, and their I2 sole.
Back. Yeah.
So with that, you've got some sort of different options on sole design, bounce, grind, all that sort of stuff. So it's nice for us to be able to customize that to the player and the needs and obviously the condition of the course.
Good point.
Etc. So. We're looking forward to testing that. Last year there was the Chrome version, the Stealth version.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
When they launched the Stealth version, they changed a couple of things, Matty. They went down to softer carbon steel, 8620 carbon steel, and they also added this little sneaky half groove in the bottom.
That's right. Yeah, right down the bottom.
Yeah, so they found that was sort of giving players sort of an additional little bit of kind of friction and spin and help on those kind of slightly thinner strikes when you're making less than full swings at it. They felt that was giving a little bit more control, so they've added that to the 3.0 line on the Chrome. Right.
All right.
Let's hit a few. Let's get some baseline test numbers with yours. Okay. What's your number with 58?
100 yards in the air. Yeah.
Perfect. So I've kind of done something here today where this won't matter as much for this particular shot. I've firmed up the green a little bit.
Okay, good.
Because I want it for our test down the line when we do our little twist test.
Right.
I want to see exactly how the green receives the ball.
Okay.
All right.
That's what a pretty good one would look like.
That one looked like it came out a fraction lower.
Yeah. I think I squared the face up a little better. First one was a bit open.
Okay.
That's good too. That's pretty much how I would hit my wedge for the most part.
Okay, Matty boy. Stock, everything kind of as we would normally expect to see it. Right, so let's get you into the ping. So same loft, 2 degrees additional bounce.
It seems like, would you say their line is biased a bit to high bounce?
100%. I mean, if you look down at the lower lofted wedges, Vokey, for example, has the F grind in 8 degrees or 12.
Yeah.
And Ping have only defaulted to the 12.
Right.
So I think they believe, or it's their kind of, sort of idea that people need more rather than less in that case. So for the 8, for example, the 58, comes in 10, it goes up to 14 in the standard. The tour sole has a little bit less, has 6, but you know, they definitely default higher rather than lower.
And you find that in your fits anyway? Most people are probably ending up with a little bit more bounce?
Yeah, I would say so.
Okay.
I think when it comes to fitting though, my sort of approach is generally always having some versatility to your set makeup.
So you'd have a lower bounce?
A lower one with maybe some trail edge relief,
right.
and then a higher one if you're playing soft or, you know, sort of heavier sand conditions, that
right.
sort of stuff. I really believe that that's the best case for most players.
That makes sense. Okay. Definitely a little bigger at address. Not terrible, but.
Mm-hmm.
Feels nice. So those were both probably...
A little more spin in that one, maybe.
Yeah, I think they were a little on the toe, to be honest. I'm looking at the ball mark now.
Okay.
They don't feel at all like that.
Interesting.
Mine, when I hit one a little toey, I feel some, I guess, rotation there.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't feel anything. I actually thought I hit it in the center, but I didn't. I felt a little thin, maybe. Extra groove helped me.
Well, if you look at the back of the ping wedge, you can actually poke your finger into the little elastomer tuning port at the back.
It's soft.
Yeah, very soft. So when you're talking there about the mishit and obviously what you're feeling and the club's ability to hide the mishit, if you like, so every strike feels, you know, really solid. That's playing a big role in that. So, you know, you go back to sort of, you used to see players in tennis use the little rubber at the base of their head,
right?
Little rubber vibration stopper.
Yep.
That's kind of what that's doing for the feel.
That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't realize that was actually soft. Like, it looks
really
like
soft.
metal. They've done a good job.
Yeah. That was nice.
Yeah, that was good. Quite good.
Okay, so we've got about 500 RPMs additional spin coming off the glide. We've got a degree lower launch. Again, that's the additional friction provided by the spin that's pulling that down.
Yep.
So land angle similar, apex is slightly lower. Interesting. Yeah, I mean, carry numbers is the same.
It's going to be the same.
You just have more stopping power through the spin.
That's cool.
Which is very interesting. Yeah, and 700 RPMs is a decent amount.
I think,
nothing.
Most players would probably be happy to get that on that's a full swing, but that would translate down like a 50, 60 yard shot.
Right.
I could definitely stand to spin more.
Now, here's the thing. With 700 RPMs, if everything else is equal, would it you know, sway you to spend a couple $100 on the wedge?
That's a good question.
It might not.
Probably.
Because you go, well, distance is the same, land angle is the same, I kind of like what mine's doing. You know, would it kind of take me to that place where I know that I'm getting a competitive advantage by moving to the new one?
Probably not at that level,
right?
To be fair, because, and it's maybe not the fairest test because my wedges are not in bad shape. They're fit properly, and they work for me well. If I was coming in with something that you'd see where someone doesn't have a great wedge, I think they might see a bigger disparity, and then at that point, a couple $100 is kind of a no-brainer.
Well, here's the thing. Here's where I would lead the fit at this point. I would talk about some of the other attributes that we're really we have on this. So, in the Glide 2.0 range, and actually something Ping have had for a while, they've had a layer, a coating on their clubs. Originally, it was called Hydro Pearl.
Yep.
So it was basically a beading of moisture on the face, and it was the idea was that it would increase friction and reduce sort of interaction of moisture between club face and ball.
Right.
So I think let's test that, and I want to test a wet Vokey versus a wet Glide 3.0.
Yep.
And I want to see what the value of that is, and
sure.
if that's maybe something that gives you another competitive advantage, not just in the dry but in the wet.
Yeah, it would be a huge advantage. Yep.
So let's add some moisture to the equation.
All right.
All right. So set yourself in there, Matty. Give it a good old soaking.
Okay. So either playing golf in the rain, or actually, you know what? When I think about it, playing early morning golf with dew is basically, this is exactly what you'd be running into.
Exactly.
The ball would be soaked.
Well, you saw, remember, I think it was last year in the playoffs, Bryson was doing a lot of that because he had an early tee time, and he had people spraying his golf ball. He wants to see what was going on. So,
all right, so standard Vokey. It's pretty well hit.
Very nice hit.
That's released a bit.
So now the ball's going forward because the spin rate has dropped to 6,700.
That is wild.
Launch angle has went up. Look at that, 37.8 degrees and 6,700. And now your ball is obviously releasing, which makes obviously perfect sense. Yeah. Okay, so let's go again. So do yours again. I will do a couple with you. Yeah, let's do.
Make sure it wasn't a fluke.
Okay.
Okay.
Spray you up.
You actually see it take off up into the net. It's not usually, that's hit like the top of the baffle versus the lower part.
Entirely different. There's almost 40 degrees of launch.
That's insane.
Right. So the idea being that, obviously the ping sort of coating at the point of contact, Matty, at the point of contact, it will basically disperse the moisture.
As the ball comes into the face?
Correct. Gotcha. Yeah. So it will really increase the friction between the two. Okay, so let me spray this now.
Thoroughly soaked.
Thoroughly wet. Okay, let me just change you over here.
Okay. Good strike. Look at that.
That's cool.
What?
That's wild.
It barely affected it at all.
Let me soak this further.
Yeah, do it. No, it was. I mean, you did.
Oh, I mean, it was
wet as hell.
Wet as an otter's pocket, as they say, Matty.
I can see my reflection in the wedge now. It's definitely soaked. Here we go.
The difference in the launch angle is so significant.
It's insane. Look at it spinning back.
That's wild.
Okay, you got to go back to mine really quick. I almost can't believe that that's going 11,000. That's insane. That was 11,000. Okay. Back to mine.
The ball is literally taken off on a...
What the hell?
Look at that.
What was that, like 7,000? Dude, that's insane. That is nuts.
Could this be the most shocking test or surprising test or eye-opening test we've ever done?
It's going to be up there for sure.
I don't think we've ever done anything that's shocked me more.
There's no way that we would have guessed 50% spin reduction.
Not a chance.
Oh, sorry, I shouldn't say that. I expected there'd be spin reduction. I didn't think that Ping would be able to retain it. That's what I did.
Yeah, true. Well, look at the difference in even just the ball speed.
Yeah, because it's not getting compressed, is it?
Because the ball's just shooting straight up off the face. The friction has been reduced so much. The launch angle is almost 8 degrees, 7.5 degrees different. That's wild.
So it only spun 300 RPMs less on average than when it was dry.
So the difference between a dry Vokey at 11,759, so it was like 5,000, almost 5,000 less spin.
Jeez.
Versus 300.
What is that?
That's wild. So
can't believe how well that works.
I mean, if you play in obviously, lots of different conditions, now you have an argument of dry weather, wet weather. Our wedge does the same, performs the same, limits the variables, early morning, live in Scotland. all those Ireland.
Or I live anywhere where there's dew, which
Moisture,
those
absolutely.
times of the spring and summer that have it.
Definitely.
It's a long period of time. Most of the year you get dew.
That's quite insane, isn't it?
If that's your first wedge of the day, let's say you've hit a great drive, you have 100 yards.
Yeah.
It's either rained or it's dewy out. You go make your first swing.
Yeah.
Not that the result, like the yardage, I don't think was all that different.
Yeah.
But let's say I was trying to spin it and land it on a top tier and keep it there or something.
I know.
Or it landed on a downslope. 6,000 RPMs is going to matter.
Well, when you see some slow motion footage of kind of wedges coming in, and how as obviously we know ball contact, first contact occurs, but you are still interacting with the ground
100%.
prior to strike. So as that club comes in and it's starting to gather the moisture, one club that retains the moisture versus one that obviously the moisture is just wicked straight off the face.
That's a good point.
It's a completely different result.
Just as you're saying that, I'm thinking, because we sprayed that, four times or so. By the end of those last couple shots, the mat would have been soaked.
The mat's soaking.
So if I came in a bit, I would have been basically spraying more water at it.
Absolutely.
And it would have been sticking to this face.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Quite amazing, eh?
That's crazy. I don't think that this performed poorly. I think this just performed the way it would, any wedge would.
Yeah.
And that Ping's just figured out a way to make that drastically. That's insane.
Wild.
I would think that a tour player would be. I know Bryson gets ragged on for that, but to not play a wedge that doesn't have some kind of coating on it seems almost odd now. Unless they're so used to it, they just know what's going to happen.
Well, this whole topic is very interesting right now. This whole sort of hydrophobic coatings and things like that. So again, additional performance characteristics. And we always look to, okay, where's the next thing coming from? Where's the next thing that can help the golfer? And, a lot of us think the golf clubs have been maxed out and, the head size and the friction, sort of the roughness in the face, the friction rating has been regulated and the face can only be so rough before it becomes illegal and things like that. But that in itself seems like a huge breakthrough in technology to me.
Yeah.
Okay, guys, get out there and test that for yourselves. Get on the range, and if you do find yourself playing in sort of obviously variable conditions, that can be something that really is of benefit to golfers, and especially ones who factor spin and stopping power and things like that into how you play your shot. If you're playing most of your shots with obviously the ball to release, then probably matters a little bit less.
True.
But for the sort of players who are looking at the wedge game and trying to be more precise, this is a huge deal. Okay, very cool, guys. That was fun. That was a lot of fun. I love when these tests turn out to provide even more sort of value and surprise than we even thought. So
agree.
Very cool. All right, stay tuned for more, and we'll see you again soon.